Mark Thompson here. Thank you for listening today. And welcome to Episode 1 of Innovate with Ease. Create things that succeed. That is what we want to do. There's a lot involved with making excellent creations and with creating things that succeed. So let's talk about doing exactly that, making great creations and making them succeed. And we're going to make it plainly understandable, straightforward, and easy. Central to making excellent things that succeed are these two key factors: creativity and innovation, both which work together. The effect of creativity and innovation is success. The engine of creativity and innovation is you. So let's get your engine ready to create and innovate. That's what all of these shows are about. Creating things that succeed involve honing in the arts and skills of creation, mastering the techniques of innovation, approaching these using frameworks, and constantly striving for excellence. Excellence doesn't necessarily mean premium, luxury, stellar, exquisite, or exotic. It means thoroughly considered and elegantly prepared. We'll learn to turn off those, "oh, that'll do," or "that's good enough" attitudes. Mediocrity and complacency make success difficult, and they put your enterprise at risk. The pursuit of excellence makes your enterprise and the world flourish. Starting with this episode, these shows will help you build up, understand, enable, improve, and increase your creativity and innovation skills and knowledge, boosting your capabilities to develop great designs, engineer great products, and produce great masterpieces, and do all of this with ease. Listen, if you're a high school student considering creative pursuits but want a glimpse ahead, or if you're a college student just getting into the subjective details of design, engineering, or management, but not entirely sure of what really happens on the job, or if you're early into your profession, acclimating to the complexities of real-world business but struggling to fit in, or if you're years into your profession, leading projects to the best of your experience and expertise, but struggling to capture the big picture to succeed, these shows will help you launch ahead and build your mastery of pursuing success. If you're a product designer or a designer of any type, if you're an engineer or if you're a project manager or a director or an entrepreneur, or if you're just a creative enthusiast, these shows will help you. If you want your enterprise to succeed, these shows will help you. If you're already familiar with creative processes and innovation, let's re-examine creativity and reimagine innovation and combine these to make excellent things that succeed. And we'll do this in such a way that makes the effort easy and pass our knowledge forward. And this can be a two-way conversation. We have Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube comments, so speak up. Let's talk about creativity and innovation. It's important to ponder what creativity and innovation are, why we need them, where they come from, why they're relevant, why they're important, why they're connected, why we do them, and finally how to do them. If we're going to come up with ways to make creativity and innovation not just possible, but easy, we should explore the creation and innovation at their very cores. We should consider the earliest foundations. Let's start with the basics. To do this, let's travel back in time. Let's go to an early age of early people in an early world where things were simple, where we were simply trying to survive. Let's observe the life of a prehistoric man named Og. Og is a man living in a prehistoric age. Og lives with a tribe who gathers and hunts for food. Every now and then, Og and his friends go on a run to find a herd of large animals. They manage to corner one particular animal, separate it from the herd, and get it to run away to the wide open. Then Og and his friends run to chase the animal as it runs. After several miles of persistent chasing, the animal overheats and collapses from exhaustion and dies. They perform persistence hunting. Now Og and his tribe friends catch the animal and find themselves tens of miles away from home, and they have to manage to bring the animal back home to feed the rest of the tribe. Since the hunted animal is large and heavy and awkward, they have to cut it up and carry pieces together, lightening the load. Sometimes it takes two people to carry one large part, and it's quite difficult for a several-mile journey back home. They are able to eat parts of the animal at the end of the hunt to regain energy for the long trek back home. Og and his friends do this about once every 12 days. One large animal can sustain the tribe's diet during this time period, and it takes roughly this long for his friends to comfortably recover from this double marathon run to persistently chase down a running animal. Some of Og's hunting friends are very fit and ready to run and could run every 8 to 10 days, so they could get fresh food more often. But Og needs all of his hunting friends to be ready because it takes all of them to carry the entire animal back home without leaving a trace. Along with gathering fruits and nuts and other small creatures, Og's tribe and his ancestors have been doing this for countless generations. This is how they survive, and it's their power and it's their expertise. They know all the tricks for chasing an animal and wearing it out to death. Well, one morning, Og and his friends go out for another persistence hunt. They chase and catch their game, and then start back home. Og, carrying a large animal midsection, separates from his group, carries his portion on his shoulders to a nearby friendly fishing tribe. This particular tribe lives next to a river. The families of this tribe gather fish from the river to survive. Og walks over to a hut carrying his animal to a friend that he knows. Og's friend is named Ned. Ned has a lot of materials in his family hut. Ned has straw and bamboo and willow and palm leaves and rattan and reeds and leather and wood. Ned has learned from his ancestors how to use these materials to craft baskets. His tribe uses these baskets to catch fish and carry fish back home. He knows everything there is to know about making fish baskets and how to make them well. Og is visiting Ned so they can share pieces of game meat and fish. Ned doesn't know how to catch game, but he does like to eat game. Og isn't skilled at catching a lot of good river fish, but he does like to eat fish. So they trade. Ned's grandfather is with them as they share a meal. As they eat, Og looks over and sees a strange-looking basket. What's that? Og sees this basket doesn't look like any other baskets. This one looks long and has 2 poles attached to each side. One end of the basket looks worn and the upper end looks kind of squeezed. That is Grandpa's basket, says Ned. Grandpa basket? Asks Og. Ned's grandfather suffered an injury long ago and his legs no longer function. Ned used his skills of making baskets to fashion a special contraption to carry Grandpa. I used that to carry Grandpa down to river so he can fish and take bath. Then I bring Grandpa back to tribe. Og stares at the Grandpa basket in bewilderment. Grandpa looks at Og and grins. How it work? Asks Og. Ned says, Grandpa sits on basket. I hold ends of 2 poles. The other end of poles drag on ground as I pull Grandpa. It's a pull and drag basket. Ned has figured out how to make this using the same materials he has always used to make fish baskets. Grandpa is over there still smiling and eating his game beef. Og looks at this special basket again. Then Og looks at the animal he just dragged in. The length of his animal is just a bit longer than the length of Grandpa. Grandpa continues to grin. Og asks Ned, You have more Grandpa baskets? Ned says, No, only Grandpa basket and fish baskets. Og asks, Can I have Grandpa basket for half animal? Ned is surprised. He didn't expect that question. No, need basket to carry Grandpa. Grandpa points to the pile of basket-making material as he eats his game meat. Ned looks at Grandpa with wide open eyes. Grandpa just smiles and looks to the materials. Then Ned tells Og, You may borrow Grandpa basket for half an animal, but bring basket back with another half animal for me. The next day, Ned helps Og tie the animal to the Grandpa basket and shows Og how to hold and pull it. Og then makes his way across the meadows toward his tribe miles away. Og is pulling this basket with all new ease. What normally takes him all day to return now takes him a shorter amount of time. Og arrives at his tribe and everyone is surprised to see him early. They look at the animal and they look at the basket. What this? It's Grandpa basket. I use it for animal. Here, try. Og's friend grabs the handles of the basket and pulls the animal to the cooking fire. Everyone is intrigued by Og's basket. 12 days later, the game meat is all gone. Og and his friends run out for another hunt. This time, Og carries the Grandpa basket. It was great for carrying the animal, but it's a little unwieldy for carrying while running. He manages to grab one side of the basket and tuck a portion underneath his shoulders while he runs. They chase down an animal and prepare for several more hours of persistent chasing. Og's friends get ahead of him. Og decides to sit the basket up against a familiar tree. He'll come back later and get it if they catch the animal. After an hour of chasing without the basket, Og and his friends catch the animal and prepare for the journey back home. Og brings his portion back to the basket, ties it on, grabs the handles, and drags the basket back to Ned's village. He makes his way back to Ned's village quicker than he has ever trekked before, animal in tow. Ned comes out and sees the fresh animal tied to the basket and shows Og into his family's hut. Grandpa smiles at the sight of that game animal, and Og is served fresh fish. Ned takes his portion of the animal and admires the grandpa basket. "This work well?" Og replies, "Yes, but hard to run with." They both look at it with admiration. Og says, "Here, have back." Ned replies, "Keep basket. I made Grandpa a new basket." Og is surprised. Grandpa points to the new basket while he grins and eats the game meat. The new basket looks better than Og's basket. Its poles are sturdier, its grips look wider. There are animal ribs at the ends where it glides against the ground, so it slides easier. It looks the same size as Og's basket, but better. Ned says, "I call it Sled. That's Grandpa's name." "Sled basket," Og says. Og returns home, animal in tow, on his sled basket. Before his next hunt, Og modifies his sled to make it easier to carry while he runs. He uses leather from the last animal and adds straps so he could carry the sled on his back while he runs. On his next hunt, he runs with the sled attached to his back, carried at an angle, and it is indeed a little bit easier to run, but it does twist and wobble with each stride, and the bottom sometimes knocks his legs, but he manages. His team catches the animal, and now he can carry the entire animal on the sled without having to cut it up. Og and his friends take turns carrying the sled. They arrive at Ned's tribe and share fish while sharing the game meat. By now, the sled is getting a little worn out. Og isn't sure if he can fix it if it breaks, so he asks Ned, "Make new sled for whole animal?" Grandpa is nearby and grins as he eats his game meat. Ned looks at Og's sled, and Ned looks at Grandpa's sled. Then Ned looks at his fish baskets. Then Ned looks at his pile of materials. Then Ned looks at smiling Grandpa. "Two animals, one sled," Ned replied to Og. Og looks at this sled and looks at his friends and says, "Two animals, new sled," and smiles. Then Ned grabs a palm leaf and uses it to measure Og's back, measure Og's arm, measures Og's leg. He picks up Og's sled to feel how heavy it is. He picks up the animal to feel how heavy it is. He measures the animal with a palm leaf. Two animals, new sled. Og and his friends go back to their tribe. With Og's first sled, his friends now find that they are recovered from the previous marathon chase in 8 days, not 12. They're ready to go back out again, and so they do. They bring a full animal to Ned, stay the night after eating fish, and they go out again the next day to chase a second animal and bring it back to Ned. Grandpa is happy. He's getting his game meat. He's been eating fish all of his life, so Grandpa gives Og and his friends all of his fish, which they take back to the tribe for a week. Og then returns back to Ned. Ned has completed Og's new sled. It is a fine piece of work. It has sturdy yet light poles. It has leather-wrapped hand grips. It has rib bones tied to the bottom for easy sliding. It has cross-thatched webbing strong enough for an animal, yet lightweight for carrying and running. Some parts are coated with oils for waterproofing. And it has fur-coated leather straps for carrying on one's shoulders. The straps are adjustable. But Og doesn't see his new sled. He sees 10 sleds. "What those for?" Ned responds, "Another hunter visits from another tribe. His name is Grog. Grog rides on a floating basket on river. Grog has sticks to make floating basket go this way or that way. He like animal sled idea, so he also give me wool animals. My friend Ali uses wool to make warm covers. Now Grog use sled to hunt too." Og is surprised. He thought the animal sled was his idea. Now Grog is hunting with sleds. But Ned is the one who knows how to make the baskets. Og accepts his new animal sled, thanks Ned and Grandpa, and treks back to his tribe. Several days later, Og and his friends go back out on a chase hunt. Now, Og can run with ease. His new sled is light, easy to wear, doesn't bounce around, and he doesn't have to set it by that tree. He can run it all the way to the collapsed animal. After loading the entire animal onto a sled and pulling it along the ground, Og realizes his tribe doesn't need 5 or 6 runners to chase down an animal and bring it back. Maybe 3 hunters will do. But now, Og and his friends want sleds too. Og and his friends drag the animal to Ned's tribe in record time. When they arrive, they find Ned still has his 10 sleds. "Why you still have sleds? Grog from river no need sleds anymore. He make his own sleds now. Here is his sled." Ned presents this strange sled to Og and his friends. It's beautiful. The wood rails are supple and smooth. There's fine leather weaving made to hold an animal. The hand grips are hand-carved. The loops securing the leather to the poles are looped in such a way that keep the webbing tight. The dragging ends of the poles have tied-on tusks for even easier gliding. This design is far superior to Ned's sleds. Now Og friends wants this sled. Ned gives 8 of his sleds to Og friends for 1 full animal. He knows they want Grog sleds, but Ned feels this might be the last chance to feed Grandpa with game animal. After Og and his friends depart, Ned is concerned. He invites his friend Ali to console him. He may not be able to produce a good sled ever again. He only knows so much from his basket experience, he's not sure what else to do. She looks at his handiwork, grabs the last 2 sleds, and brings them over to her hut. Several days later, Og and his friends and the tribe's chief comes to visit Ned. And in a strange turn of events, a boat arrives on the river carrying Grog and his tribe's chief, carrying their nice sleds to trade. But Ned has nothing to trade but baskets and fish. But suddenly, Ali comes forward with a sled, and all eyes gaze upon her sled. The poles are intricately shaped, thinned out to make them light. There are carved patterns designed on each pole. The webbing has been completely replaced with intricate hexagonal weaving, making the center taut and lighter than all sleds. The shoulder straps have been placed with woolen leather straps for ultimate comfort on their shoulders. And the upper part of the weaving that supports the animal head has a beautiful pattern of colored beads, all arranged to look like the spirit of the animal and its life mate, an art depiction honoring the spirit of the slaughtered animal. Above this bead pattern is another pattern of woven rattan pieces depicting a sunrise, and patterns all along the sides of the weaving exhibiting sensations of speed and swiftness. And the ends of each hand grip, each of which are made of interlaced woven leather strips, are hand-carved wrist stops, oiled for years of water resistance, are lustrously glimmering with red stones glistening in the sun. Special stones that Ali found in the river long ago, waiting for something special. Every eye is fixated on Ali's sled. Og asks if Ned would like an animal for it. Ali turns and says, 5 animals. Grog comes forward, and his chief says he will give them all of their sleds for this one. Og's chief says, "I will give you 40 animals for this one sled, if you make more sleds without the red stones. This one is mine, and mine only." Ali says, 50 animals. Grandpa smiles. Og's chief looks at this tribe and says, "Okay." So what did we learn from the story of Og, Ned, Grog, Ali, and Grandpa's sled? Og and his tribe were great at something. They knew everything to know about wild game persistence hunting, and they were great at it, because they were all well experienced and practiced it all of their lives. Ned and his tribe were also great at something. They knew everything to know about river fishing and making baskets to fish, and they were great at that because they were all well experienced and practiced them all of their lives. But when these tribes got together, and when they found out what they were able to accomplish together, using their combined skills, diverse expertise, and mind power, they found out that they had challenges they had never even realized. And with these combinations and cooperation, innovation began to happen. Ned visualized in his mind that he could possibly pull his physically challenged grandpa if he applied his well practiced basket making skills using his expertise, apply them in a similar but different way, and fashion a pull sled. All he needed was his imagination to visualize the future, then make a new creation. And then Og, after laying his eyes upon Ned's grandpa sled, Og visualized in his mind that he could possibly carry a heavy and awkward animal easier and faster if he dragged it along using some similar type of sled. This is something that he had never imagined before, but all he had to do was see the grandpa sled and extend his imagination to the next step. Once he imagined pulling game on a sled, he suddenly wanted it. But he knew he couldn't do it himself. He needed Ned, and Ned's mind, and Ned's expertise, and Ned's skills. And Ned needed Og to inform him how to design a new creation, a new game sled. In Ned's circumstance, innovating a new basket that became a sled solved a problem. Grandpa needed to get to the river and back. There was really no other practical way. Ned mitigated a hardship. His innovation solved a problem. It made his life and Grandpa's life much better. It gave them both relief and made them happy. Solving problems helps us overcome hardships. Overcoming hardships makes us feel good and makes life easier. That is why we innovate. In Og's circumstance, innovating a new sled that he could carry while running and then haul a game animal back home really just improved his life. He could have continued the same method forever and had been fine. It really wasn't a problem. But once he realized the option of an easier life, opening opportunities to do other things with newfound time and energy, he realized that his current lifestyle was suddenly challenging. He realized it had always been challenging. Ned's innovation addressed Og's challenge. It made his and his tribe's lives better. Recognizing and overcoming challenges eases life experiences, and that makes us happier. It opens new opportunities, new possibilities. That is why we innovate. And when Og experienced that this wonderful new innovation did indeed improve his life experience, he started to notice a few flaws. In these flaws and insufficiencies, he discovered new challenges that could be addressed. He started to become some kind of expert. Ned listened, and again, Ned applied his imagination to change his first design and iterated it, making an even newer unique creation that served a purpose with more precision, with added focus, with layers of purpose. It was thoughtfully considered and elegantly prepared. The new iteration of his creation exuded excellence. But what inspired Ned to help Og at all? Well, we know he received game meat for doing this. That's really good motivation. You can see that in Grandpa's smile. Ned could have hunted game meat all by himself, but he didn't. There was some other motivating force, something from within his mind. Some drive, some primal urge in his mind that kept him pursuing. A deep urge to get it right. Continuously iterating for improvement, targeting better sensations for improving the experience of stakeholders, for approaching that ideal sled and ideal experience for hunters, striving to pursue that internal spirit of excellence, for responding to what Ned wanted Og to experience in Og's mind. That is why we innovate. And when Grog, from that foreign village, entered the scene, when he presented his own superior sled design, Ned knew right away that he faced competition. And this new circumstance exposed risk for his own means of earning good game meat and expanding his pursuits. And he knew that he had to do something to add and make more desirable, something with more character, something to invoke good senses and sensations, something more friendly, something more human. The creation didn't need something that necessarily solved a stakeholder's problem or addressed a particular challenge. Several sleds did that, old and new. He needed to add spirit, sensational spirits, features to inspire the users, something to have an impact on their minds. To do this, he had to expand his capabilities, to add skill, to add perspective. Diversity of thought was needed. Ned needed to add another mind with other unique life experiences. He had to bring in a partner, someone who had different expertise, different approaches, and different perspectives. And so Ali enters the scene. And with the combined efforts of Ned's work and Ollie's approach and skills, they made something that not only worked better than any other sled had worked before, they made something really special, something very noticeable, something that warmed the heart, something that inspired the stakeholders, something that motivated their spirits of excellence, motivated their will of pursuit and their sense of championship and companionship. These new features served no physical function, yet they were critical and effective. Ali added key features that targeted specific sensations of the hunters. Ned and Ali added features to reduce the sled's presence, allowing hunters to focus on sensations around them necessary to run and hunt. Ogg's tribe had little technical need for this new sled over Grog's sled, but suddenly they wanted it because it made them feel special. And a bidding war erupted because the sled was significantly more desirable. Ned and Ali improved the experience of the stakeholders because they made something that was compelling. They played to cognitive senses and sensations, and they won. That is why we innovate. Address challenges and solve problems. Provide intrigue by targeting cognitive senses and sensations. Satisfy desires. And provide foundations and platforms that lend to new opportunities. Perform any of these and you become an innovator. Perform all of these and you become a great innovator. Study these things and you can innovate with ease. Here's the fascinating aspect of creation and innovation. Once you do it and do it well, you can actually create new economies. You can feed into markets, ease lives, push things forward, and change the world. Every day, hundreds of new creations are formed, and each one of them serves a purpose. People are very willing to exchange currency, credit, things of value, their time or energy to obtain these unique creations. But they will do this only if those creations provide beneficial value, if they provide relevance, the most basic economic tenet. You can provide new impetus for economies. You can affect the world. Isn't that exciting? Now, it is important to recognize that someone else could also supply different creations that provide similar value. And so one must innovate, and innovate again and again to be competitive, to produce creations that have the best chance of adoption and success, to create things that succeed. So how do we get there? How do we begin? What will be our Og, Ned, and Ali stories? How do we identify challenges and problems and create towards them? How do we influence intrigue and desires? How do we set up possibilities for future opportunities? To best do this, we have to go to the absolute foundation. Recognize that stakeholders of any creation are people. Even if creations are made for other things, they are ultimately made to interface with people. And that interface ultimately takes place through the physical senses into the mind. And that mind rides upon something very important, our brain. That is where we will begin. So stay tuned for the next show, where we'll examine the motor of innovation, starting with the brain. Thank you for watching today.
I do believe we are destined for great things.